9/11, eh? The clock on the phone said 9/11 as soon as I kick started this next video. Um, which it's one of the things that if I was to add up every single video that I've ever done since I was first prompted to do it back in Reno, Nevada in the summer of 2020, and I'd wake up and things would just come to me, and I'd just go, put it up, put it up, put it up. What I was experiencing through my heart and soul and the essence of my spirit, just put it up there. So I realized that my first passion, when I go back to my earliest memories, is learning. I realized I was on fire to learn as a monopole. So you realize that you're learning at a very, very, very high rate of accelerated speed. And naturally, that's true of a mated chip, a monopole, right? Because you're on fire. Okay. So when your energy's on fire, that's your natural state. That's natural energy. That's claim burning energy, by the way, which means you're burning off anything that is less than what you are, which is what love is. It's on fire. So if I was saying that by virtue of others around me experiencing that, then they realize why they would call us hyperactive. Yeah, we're hyperactive, all right. We do know how to sit still, by the way, in a complete state, a complete spiritual state of peace, a still point, the center point of a sphere. Yes, we do. Silent running. I am one of those that loves to be in the forest where you can't even hear a pin drop. Wow. You know where they came up with that term called silent night? And where it's pitch black out in a forest. And you got a big ass campfire going with a big rock circle, a hole in the ground, where you're burning up. I used to burn up an average of about, I estimated somewhere in the neighborhood of, because there's a lot of dead wood up there on the Siskiyou National Forest. Well, actually the Klamath, but it's the Siskiyou Mountains. Up along California Highway 96 along the Klamath River. Comes down for Klamath Falls, Klamath Lake, Oregon. Runs down through, Shasta County. Through by Mount Shasta, and then it cuts across what's Interstate 5 down where just north of Wairika, and then it cuts along across I-5 there, California 96, and then it eventually moseys on down to Happy Camp, then Orleans, and then eventually out on Pacific Coast Highway, Highway 1 in the Pacific Ocean. It's a beautiful river to raft, by the way, and you can still, I would imagine, the last time I checked, you could still pan for gold out of that river, but I believe it was Governor Schwarzenegger, they put a moratorium on that, right? But this is everything is all about energy harvesting. As a matter of fact, I ran into a lot of folks that were out in that forest because I love to hang out where the bears are, right? It's got one of the largest black bear populations per capita, which means per density consciousness. It has more bears consciousness, units of energy, bears that are aware of what a bear is and what a bear does that you can observe in a forest. So there are more bears, units of consciousness that are represented by bears on the visible light spectrum around that part of North America, which would be the known as the Klamath Knot. Geologists call it the Klamath Knot, and the way that you have granitic and volcanic uplift, the sort of spin together, and you get such a diversity of terrain and thus fauna and flora that grow there that support a lot of different species of all kinds of stuff, which is one of the reasons I love that forest. Which means it's probably not a coincidence why they would build a dam right there on the border between Southern Oregon and a place called Applegate Lake, where they put the dam in when I was there in 1977. So that's not a coincidence either, is it? because I mentioned this before. The last time I went over between, say, if you looked at a map where Grants Pass, Oregon is, right off of I-5, which is about, as the crow flies, maybe 80 miles north of the California border between the coastline and, say, Modoc, which would be over on the northeast corner of California, and then just go northbound from, say, the Klamath River in between the Pacific and, say, I-5. If you drive a line or point a line going northbound from there up, say, about 60 to 90 miles, somewhere right around in there, you'll hit I-5, and then you can go westbound across what is known as Bear Camp. And those are some really beautiful. It's to a certain degree, it's unspoiled in the sense that you can spend time out there and not see anybody. You know, like, hey, I can get lost out in this forest, and matter of fact, I can live out here and nobody'd ever find me. That kind of stuff, right? Where you go down to a place called Lobster Creek and Gold Beach, and that whole area through there is where they do a lot of salmon fishing and all that. But the point that I was trying to convey is about energy, that experiencing clean burning natural energy, nature, natural energy. So natural energy is living energies. Living energies are living spirit that is in the form of that energy with a soul. So you're experiencing natural, clean burning energy, and you're experiencing pure love through your heart and your soul. Then you realize that is an eternal blessing, and that is an eternal gift. And so and it naturally is gifting it away. It's just the way it works. So you're gifting that energy away. And as you're gifting it away, you're increasing the speed of your vibration and the spin rate of your magnet. Now you're on fire. Yep. So now others that are around you experience this little boy, right? That's just on fire. He's, see, so you can imagine, for me, when I was growing up in Southern California, you're different. So they want to classify you, program your memory, right, to become something different than what that is, right? Because they don't want that kind of energy around. You'll start waking people up because they're going to start experiencing more what love is. They'll begin to heal because what you're doing is you're burning through their circuits, circuit board and motherboard. So you're clearing dark energy, dark essence out of the motherboard at a very high rate of speed. So that basically means a cleanup crews here. That's really what purifiers are. They're the cleanup crew. Because it means that when you've chosen to serve forever on behalf of love and service to others forever, then you naturally are going to be spinning a high-speed magnet. And when you choose not to ever be separated from the female side of the cosmos to become the most powerful fire, then you realize that much energy that is purified, that is in that light, that's running such an accelerated rate of speed with our magnet, is going to start cutting down lines of communication. Because it just burns it up. It's like it's no different than the way that a kinetic energy unit would do it in a uniform, like in World War II, with what they used to call sappers, which means, listen, when the French begin to realize we're here in their face with guns and weapons, artillery, grenades, and all the rest of it, then they're not going to be able to get on their phone and contact their command console to let them know, hey, we're under attack, so they can send reinforcements. Instead, before they know it, man, they're already across the border, established a guard post, now from which other forces come in, just the way they laid it out when they overtook France and went into Belgium and took down that fortress, right? Okay, so the first guys in, just like Screaming Eagles in Normandy, is to take down your command and control, which is your full spectrum dominance, which is your Skynet. So the first thing you're naturally going to go after is their communications. So they can't communicate to each other anymore and call out reinforcements, right? So now they're going to be isolated, which means their consciousness is now isolated, which means they can't get on the phone and nobody's home. Now they realize they're cornered. The light's got them cornered. Okay. So now what you have is a rabid dog in a corner, right? And so when you have a rabid dog in the corner, it's going to start throwing everything at you in order for it to survive. Okay. Because that's what it operates on, a survival mode. That's what an AI, when an AI comes together as a result of fractals, 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 because of fracturing souls, fracturing souls, fracturing souls, fracturing souls, in order to maintain what it's aware of, which is itself energy. That the only way that it can sustain what it's aware of, which is itself in energy, is off of those that represent eternal energy, which means it can't exist without us, and it knows that. So the more that it can map and predict what it is that we do, the more that it can continue to have a relationship with us. See, that's what they use as their military intelligence to run all their stuff. So that's a controller type. See, that's an inverter. So you have an inverted state of consciousness that plays AI war games. See, and that's against the law of one. Okay, that's energy that's not in balance. It's not in a state of peace. Okay, and it's certainly not love is the law, which means it's against the law. So it's against the law of one. And I'm a monopole, so it's against the law because I know what love is. That's what I am. So all the light has to come together. And so the word went out to all the living spirits that are in the light, came together on behalf of the light, which is on behalf of the one, which is eternity, eternal fire. The eternal fire that is always lit keeps that bulb going, cosmic level sun, if you will. Any living energy sun that is gifting us energy, thank you for your energy, thank you for your energy, thank you for your energy. Because you realize it's not costing them any energy. It's not costing us any energy to give you energy. It goes on forever. That's what love is. So that makes it relatively simple. So when you're on fire and you are what love is, you want to experience all the different things that are possible to experience in the shortest period of time, because you realize, hey man, I only got a given amount of time. Because you're on fire, you're having so much fun. Otherwise known as a state of love and joy. So you're naturally in a state of peace because you're having so much fun. So when people see that you're in a state of love and joy and you're having fun, you're naturally not doing any harm to nobody. So they don't have a reason to grab a weapon or put a wall up or a fence up, right? Or put motion detectors in there or put you under surveillance. No. That's unnatural to do that. It is very unnatural to do that. So you realize that their energy represented by their state of mind is not a natural energy state of mind. It's an inverted state of mind because it wants to control everything that it doesn't love itself. It's not experiencing what love is within its own state of consciousness, in which it can let go of the rest of the energy in order for it to feel a part of everything that is energy. That is what love is, which is what light is, because that's what it began with. So you know that at some point in time, at some point, the multiverse of energy is going to correct itself. And that's called a self-correction by virtue of the communication that's taking place between all the living spirits that are in that light, that are communicating with each other, the direction that we're moving in order to end Star Wars or energy wars between units of consciousness that are not in a state of peace. They're not experiencing the law of spheres, the law of one, the center point of balance, an equilibrium state, equal unto all, which means the energy is equal unto all and which it's being gifted. And it's being gifted as a result of experiencing what love is that goes on forever. So love is an eternal gift. So the energy itself is a gift. And it is an eternal blessing to experience that. So that's what I share. As I share the energy that I am and gift it away. And boy, take a look at this. I love it here the way that the weather when the sun comes up in the morning. Hey, nice sunny morning, right? And then all of a sudden it might get a little darker clouds. Ooh, we're gonna get some rain, and then it comes down, right? This is I love this island. The Big Island of Hawaii really is because there's so many different weather systems and weather patterns and places that you can live on an island for an island it's actually pretty good size. It takes you about from if you go from the Kona side, which is the west side, to the east side. As I remembered, it took about 2.5 hours, to get from one side to the other, and that's when traffic is clear all the way, right? Um, but there is there it's a big community. I mean, it's a big island in the sense that there are a lot of places that you can go in which your mind is removed from the other place, which means the differences that you can experience here by the way in which the natural landscape of everything that's alive and living in energy is gifting us energy. So it's a very powerful energetic rock to plug into and absorb a tremendous amount of very positive, powerful energy. Yeah. Have a great day. We love you all. Be good to yourselves.